A very good morning to one and all. Welcome you all to Narayana Engineering College, Nellore, NECN TV. Today, we would like to have a brief discussion on design thinking stages. Design thinking is a human-centered approach, as we have discussed in our last class. It's an iterative process. So today, we would like to understand the process of design thinking in various stages. So coming to the first stage of design thinking, it's empathize, define, ideate, prototype and test. So this is the 5-stage design thinking model, which is also called as Stanford model. So why we are calling design thinking as a human-centered approach? So we do have designs, we have engineering designs, all the designs which we have already discussed. Design thinking mainly focuses on the user needs, the user requirements, the specific need. We have to identify the specific need of the user. So let us all discuss about these various stages in the form of the applications in our current world technology. So coming to the first stage, empathize. Empathize means to understand the user need. So what are the different needs of our society, of the environment, of the innovative solutions that are being developed in our current day technology. All these user needs related to our environment, it may be related to technology, come under empathize stage. So to understand this empathize stage, we do have multiple tools. Tools in the form of empathy maps that we would like to discuss in our next topic. So coming to the second stage of design thinking, it's define. We need to give a correct statement of our problem. We have multiple problems in our technology. Let us talk about an embedded system. Let us talk about a VLSI design, or let us talk about a normal our environmental problem. So for all these problems, we have to generate a proper definition. We have to write a proper statement, which is said to be problem statement. This problem statement gives us the right statement of the problem that we are facing. So identifying and defining or generating the right sequence of the sentence is said to be define. In define stage, we can identify who is the actual user need and what is the problem of that user in a proper statement. The third stage of design thinking is ideate. Ideate refers to the various ideas that are being generated. As I said, design thinking is an iterative process. A cycle of events will be repeated. We have a problem, we approach to that problem in multiple ways and we generate multiple ideas. So this idea generation is the third step of design thinking. Next, coming to the fourth stage, it is prototype. So after defining a problem based upon the user requirement, we do generate multiple ideas. After getting these multiple ideas, which is the best idea? Which idea will give the best solution is our next step. So that idea which gives the best solution is said to be prototype, a tangible representation of ideas. For every problem, we approach it in a different way. For problem 1, we have n number of solutions. For problem 2, we have n-1 number of solutions. For multiple problems, we approach in multiple diverse directions. So all these diverse solutions and a best solution from that, we are going to implement it. So this method of generating ideas and implementing it the best way is said to be prototype. Finally, the last stage of design thinking is test stage. When we develop a model or when we implement a system, we try to gather feedback, the positives, the negatives from the specific users. Why we are talking about specific users? As we already said in the first statement, that design thinking is a human-centered approach. We are focusing on the specific need. Who is the specific user? What is the specific need of that user is our main criteria. So the final stage, test stage, will give you the final output, which is the positive feedback as well as the negative feedback. We should consider both these feedbacks which we are gathering from the specific users. It's not that we are generating a problem statement, we are getting a solution and gathering feedback from everywhere. No, we need to gather feedback from the right person, from the specific user whom we are targeted to. Now, this is the 5-stage design thinking process. Let us have a quick review of these 5 stages. The 5 stages include empathize, which focus on user needs. The second stage focus on define, where we have to give a clear problem statement. The third stage is ideate, which will give a multiple creation of ideas. The fourth one is prototype, which will give you the best possible model to implement. And the final stage is the test, where we are gathering feedback to implement this entire picture in a proper way. So this kind of design thinking, human-centered approach is an iterative process. We have a sequence of steps. Finally, from the test, we are going to get one output. What's next? We have to understand this 5-stage design thinking process in a better way, in a deeper way, with the help of a flowchart. So I hope you all have understood the first phase, that is the phases of design thinking. Phases are also known as stages. This model of defining the design thinking is also called as Stanford model. So we have multiple models in the entire world. We have so many committees which have designed these design thinking courses, but mostly followed is the Stanford model. Now, let us go in deeper, understand what is actually the process, the deeper process of design thinking. So, first one is defining the problem. As I said, we have to generate a problem statement. So, let us take a problem. Like every one of you are sitting in the class and you don't like to sit for 50 minutes. You are only concentrated for 30 minutes. You don't want to sit still in a classroom and listen to the faculty in a calm way for 50 minutes. That's your problem, let us take. So any such problem, so commonly we can generate it and we can write it in a clear statement that is said to be defining the problem. Second part is do background research. What is the background research? Why? Why you are not able to sit 50-minute concentration in the class? What is the background research? Maybe you don't have a proper goal, maybe you are not interested, maybe you are not feeling well. So there are multiple reasons where we have to do the search process. We try to search and identify a solution. We do again search. We are not satisfied with the answer, we again search. We are not satisfied still, again we search. So this process of searching for the right answer multiple times is said to be research. So what is the actual reason for this problem? We have to do a background research. Then finally, after getting our answer, after getting what is the actually research we have done, we specify the requirements. So what are the requirements? What are your requirements in your example to sit with 100% concentration in the class? What are your requirements? So this is just an example which we are discussing. So once you understand this process, we can take any technical problem or any social problem in our society, any specific user, and we can discuss. Next, coming to the requirements, we have to understand the need and what is the requirement of the user, and we have to present it in a clear way. Finally, brainstorm. Brainstorm, as it's a word which will be new to you. What is the brainstorm or brainstorming which we hear nowadays? It's nothing but a deeper thinking, thinking in a divergent way. Critical thinking, cognitive thinking, all these are the different words which we are listening. So, deeper thinking, you can simply call it as brainstorm. After identifying all these problems, we have to evaluate. We are going to get, see, as we have discussed about the multiple solutions in idea generation, we do get multiple ideas. So, brainstorming is a part of that idea generation, where do we get multiple solutions and we have to identify the right kind of solution. Finally, after doing the brainstorming, deeper thinking, critical thinking process, finally we may get an answer. After that, what to do? we have to develop and prototype the solution. As we said, if we are n number of solutions, what is the best solution out of that n number, we have to identify. And finally, if we are satisfied with our answer, we go for the test stage. So after identifying the answer, there is one more important step. The process from define to develop is the process of design. So a new term is added that makes design thinking specific as a human-centered approach. Why we are calling design thinking as a human-centered approach? Because this is the new parameter which is introduced in our current technology. That is, we have a test, we finally have a solution. So is our solution meeting the requirement of the user, or is that solution partially meeting the requirement? So generally, when we try to market a product we try to model any product in the market, in the society, what do? We do define, we get the requirements, we do brainstorming, and we develop and get a solution. What is designing thinking? The model which you have brought in, or the product which you have brought it into the market, is it meeting the requirements of the user, or is it partially meeting the requirements of the user, is the question. If you are able to satisfy the particular specific user, we are mostly focusing on specific user. This specific user is the target of design thinking. It's not like that we are going to gather feedback from any user. No. Design thinking focuses on the specific user. For whom are you defining or you generating your problem? For whom are you writing the solution for the problem? Are you meeting the requirements of that user, or are you are partially meeting? If you are partially meeting, you have to meet the final requirements of the user. For that, we gather feedback. Even if we do back propagation of all these, we have to clearly understand the basic, that's nothing but empathize. Empathize starts with the user requirement. Next. So to go into a much deeper process, we would like to discuss about empathy map. So it will be useful for you. I hope everyone just takes this down and understand and write your own statements for this empathy map. What is actually an empathy map? Empathy map is a tool. It's a tool to understand what is the user need. Let us discuss. It's in the form of a quadrant. So the first quadrant is says, thinks, does, feel. Suppose I want to say something. I will just pass a statement. But actually, after passing the statement, in my mind, something would be running. I would be thinking something else. Finally, I will be doing whatever I want, whatever I feel right at that moment, I will do. But internally, I will have some other feeling. So this process of understanding the human emotions, the user emotions, their feelings, their requirements of a problem is analyzed in empathy map. Let us take a small example for empathy map. Suppose you are just going to buy a mobile, a latest mobile into the market. So we say that some person X wants to buy a mobile. The person X says, I want to buy a mobile. What will be running inside his mind? Which is the mobile which is best suited for me? He may talk about the latest technology related to that mobile. He may think what could be the cost and what's the money I can afford. Is it affordable? Is it having new techniques? Or which is the best place I may get that mobile? It may be a store or it may be online. So from where I have to buy? So these things will be running in his mind if he wants to buy a mobile. What is the problem here? The problem statement? He wants to buy, a person, some X wants to buy a mobile. That is his statement. What is his thought? He is thinking about what type of technology should be included in his mobile. What is the cost? Is he able to afford that much of price? Or he wants to buy some affordable mobile. The third one, whether he wants to buy it at a store nearby or he wants to buy it online. The third one is does. Really, yeah. He has identified that he want to buy the mobile online. He will browse multiple sites. Which is the best site? which is giving the mobile at a better price and with better feature. That is what he will do. No, he is not satisfied with the online prices. He will visit the nearest store and he will check out the color, the images, or all these things he will check out. That is what he will do. That is what do. Finally, after buying the mobile, he will express his happiness. So this sort of happiness, the word happiness is his emotion. That is what he is feeling. He is happy because whatever problem he had, he wanted to buy the mobile, he has bought. That is happiness. For example, after doing all this research, he is not satisfied with the price, he is not satisfied with the technology, or he is not satisfied with the color of the mobile, he won't buy. So he will have some sort of anxious behavior to go and buy the mobile at another store. So this sort of understanding the emotions of a user, their need, their problem statements, their ideas, their thoughts, finally the solutions and the feedback is said to be the empathy map. So empathy map is a tool which is going to explain you in deeper detail about the first stage of design thinking, that is empathize. So I request you all to just understand the first stage as user emotions, user needs, specific problem statement we need to mention. So thank you all. So for your patient listening for today's class, so we have discussed 3 things in our class today. First is the 5-stage Stanford model, which consists of empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. The second one, a deeper understanding of a human-centered approach, design thinking as a human-centered approach. And the third one, understanding about a tool which is said to be empathy map, specifically designed for the first stage of design thinking, that is empathize. Thank you so much.